Congratulations, coach. You won your fourth Patriot League title with a 9-2 win against Lehigh. Just what were your thoughts going out through the whole game? I mean, it was another impressive first inning start by the team.
Yeah, I mean, it was funny that this morning when I got to the field, the girls said really good vibes this morning. They were pretty excited. So, yeah, I knew it was going to be a good weekend. I think for them, this was a chance to show that they were the best team in the conference the entire year. And, I think for them, having a target on their back from day one, right? When you're predicted in this preseason poll, I think for us, there was always someone chasing us, and they were incredibly resilient the whole entire year to get to this point. But, I think for me, my satisfaction was making it to the championship game. I genuinely felt after yesterday, just make it today, I thought that would be a really difficult team to beat twice. But I told them before the game, I said, we are playing one game today, right? We had mid-game snacks, but we were playing one game today. And they were pretty fired up with that. But yeah, I mean, Coker and Lauren, obviously, I thought set the tone. I thought they did a brilliant job the entire weekend of getting on base, making things happen and starting it right away. And then obviously Emily Gant and Lone Net directly behind, just moving people, scoring runs, making things happen. I thought in this tournament specifically, 1 through 9 in the order, I feel like everybody did something at some point. And I think that's pretty special. That's a really tough team to stop when you have people obviously shooting from all cylinders in 1 through 9 in the order.
I mean, just to speak more about that, I mean, you've had some tough pitching duels with Lehigh. To score 18 runs against a really good pitcher in Gabriella Noah and that pitching staff, I mean, what does that say about your offense to be able to do that against Lehigh?
Yeah. I think, it's interesting. I feel like there's a couple of really good pitchers in the league. And I think for us, our like week preparation, sometimes we get specific about someone, but other than that, I mean, I think for us, just working on like getting on ball, getting behind balls, generating ground balls, generating line drives, that was going to make something happen. I think Gabby, she threw really great, obviously, in her first game of the tournament. And I was really impressed against Colgate. So coming into that mindset that next day, it was just being short and sweet, right? Like get to the ball, put the ball in play, make things happen. And I think from that, we obviously could see that they were going to make mistakes. Right. And for us, like we thrive on that. We actually start to like pick up. I think the energy you can notice when they're like, oh, okay, we can take advantage. That's when they actually become like tougher and tougher. So I think for us, we're just really scrappy. But yeah, Gabby Nori is a really great pitcher. I think that our offense just did a really great job having the mindset of like, no, we're going to put the ball in play and you're going to have to get us out. You're going to have to make a play. And we had some really timely hits, which I feel like I was asking for the entire year. Our thing this year was just separate every team that we were playing. It's just separate, right? Don't keep it close. Don't keep them within reach. And, I think today they continue to separate. They scored, and we found a way to respond, obviously. And that's how it really should be. That's a sign of a really good team.
Right. You talking about the scrappiness, and earlier in the week, I was asking you, how did you think the freshmen, sophomores would react this weekend? Because for both classes, this was their first postseason action. I mean, looking back, I mean, how do you think they reacted to everything this weekend?
Yeah, I mean, if you take a step back, I mean, Lauren was the tournament MVP behind the plate. Lauren Kellever had a heck of a weekend for herself. And you sit there and you hope that you prepare them and they can thrive in these moments, but we never make a game bigger than it is. And, I got that advice a long time ago. You don't change your preparation for anybody. You don't change what you do. If they're prepared, they're prepared. And, I think for us this week, really taking a step back after a conference play, having a week and a half off to almost sit there and say like, okay, what do we really need to focus on? So that bye weekend, it was funny. I didn't know if it was gonna be a blessing or a curse, but it gave our bodies a chance to recover, but it did get us mentally to a really better spot. I thought Patty played a really great weekend. That's her first Patriot League tournament. She transferred in, last year was canceled. And for her, it was a matter of just getting confidence at shortstop and taking reps and finding herself again. And I thought she did a really great job. And, you look at someone like Kate Coker, who I don't know what her on base percentage was this tournament, but it was high, and you sit there and you look at it and you're like, okay, these kids are prepared. So they looked at this as it was just another game. They knew it was at stake, but, preparation is everything. And, we practice how we play. And I thought that they did a good job executing that.
Right. And then looking at the pitching staff first with Emily Gant, obviously she had the save in the first game, but then had some really key at bats this weekend.
Yeah, I think Emily's just a really dynamic player. I mean, she's just super talented. And, I'm looking forward to her being healthy again next year and obviously getting a chance to take some more innings. But, Allie stepped up. Allie did exactly what she needed to do. And I thought Allie Bowes did a really great job, obviously early on in the season, Lizzie Avery here and there. But Emily Gant is, a 5-tool player. She's shown that she can play outfield, she can pitch, she can hit, she can bunt, she can slap, she can run. She absolutely is, I look at her all the time and I think to myself, like, oh man, like anywhere in the country, this kid is a number one. Like she's just awesome, and I think that her role on this team, it's she steps in and throws when she needs to throw, and her and Allie have an incredible relationship, but you give her the bat and she makes things happen. So, she's shown it's really tough not to write her name down every single day, which is a good thing for her.
Right. And it seems like every game there's someone who's coming out of the dugout to really make an impact. And Audrey Sellers today was her opportunity, getting a key at bat and then making a couple of big defensive plays as well.
Yeah, I think I told, a few of them at the end of the game, but this is an incredible team. We have some incredible teammates, to Audrey's a starting catcher, who lost her position to a freshman, right? And at no point has she ever kind of hung her head. I mean, she is like positive, she's with her, she's whatever. And I think Audrey was just waiting, and Audrey gets the call today. She hits a great ball through the 3-4 hole. Then she goes into second base. And I thought she made 2 really great plays, so I think for me, it's, you never know when it's going to be your chance. And I always tell them, when you get that opportunity, don't give it back. Right. And I'm going into, obviously the NCAA is looking at like, oh man, like let's get her ready for second base. She's someone that can actually do it. But yeah, I was really happy for her. She's been kind of in a slump. So it's a nice feeling when something goes through finally.
Right. And then looking at the game, I mean, what does it mean to win another title at home?
Yeah. I mean, it's special. It's interesting. I feel like this year was so challenging. And I think any coach across the country could probably tell you that, every single week you're waiting for test results. Every time they go to test, you kind of hold your breath. And I think for me, when I was recognizing early that this year was going to be special, there's a place in the back of your mind that is always thinking, this is going to end in such an unfortunate way. Right. And like how devastating for these kids. And, I think we approached it as any game could be your last. Any weekend could be your last. So, you got to leave it out there. You got to play hard. And they did that. And I think for me, it was a moment of like the discipline of these like 18 to 22-year-olds, to not have a situation where they got COVID or not get in trouble or not have any scenario that kind of took us out of our groove. I mean, just the unselfishness of that is just so impressive. And, I can't say enough about them. I love this group. They're hilarious. They're fun. They're talented. Right. But they're also incredibly disciplined and there for one another. And I think that's just so special. So yeah, today was a different feeling for me. I think they've every championship special, right? And as Tom Brady says, the next one's the best one.
Right.
So I can stick with that too. But I think it says more about who they are as people, than it does about them as softball players. I think that's probably what stood out the most to me.
Well, right. And I mean, I had mentioned you've won 4 titles. And I mean, obviously this program has had a lot of success in the 90s, 2000s, and the early 2010s. But this is still the first ever three-peat. I mean, if you can just talk about how obviously the program's shown it can be very hard to do that, and now to finally to be able to get over that hump.
Yeah, I mean, I think I say on a daily basis to whoever will listen, winning softball games is hard, right? You have to have the pitching, you have to make the defensive plays, and you got to find a way to score runs. It's not easy. So for us to do it the way that we did it this year, I think that's the piece that just maybe stands out the most to me is just the fact that like we won so many softball games, and whether it was regional or we couldn't travel or whatever the situation was, the fact was, we continued to go out there every day. It didn't make a difference who we were playing. We were still winning, and winning is really challenging. But yeah, I mean, this program, when I took it over 6 years ago, to me, I was coming into it saying, oh no, I know BU. BU's a place of excellence. BU's a place that wins, right? And I was on the other end of that for many losses at the University of Maine. So I knew BU from the outside as being a team that there was a great tradition there, and they could win championships. And I think for me, when I took it over, I was like, it's going to get back to that. And that's been, a very specific goal of Becca and I. So we're always going to, we got to make the tournament. Once you make the tournament, you got to figure that out. You got to take the next step. And, we're always pushing and trying to, push the boundaries and raise our expectations and raise our standards. And so far they've been met, so, recruiting plays a huge part, and the kids that are choosing to come here, they play a huge part. I mean, look at someone like Lauren Nett, she had different offers here and there. I mean, she didn't walk on spot at Auburn, you know what I mean? But she chose the academics, she chose the athletics, she chose here. And, what a difference maker that is. But yeah, this place, I always say like the best is yet to come, but I tell you, the alumni who have come through here, who have built this, that's a pride that we carry with us every single day. So we recognize what BU was, and we're trying to get it, to get back to that spot where it's kind of, looked at, respected, and also really well known regionally and beyond that in the country. We want people saying BU.
Right. And since we don't really talk about, or I don't ask questions about them, I'll ask you now. I mean, what have Becca and Ashley meant to you for your coaching staff this year?
It's funny. I just put a picture up on Instagram, and with next to Becca, we always take a championship photo together, and just say ride or die, right? She's absolutely my ride or die. She is my right hand. For anyone who knows me, I absolutely love the game of softball, but I love coaching softball, right? So I love practice planning. I love execution. I love strategizing. I love coaching. Becca handles, maybe I would say, 100% of everything else.
Right.
So I do the necessary needs as a head coach that are required of me. But this program does not run without Becca. She's a hustler, and she's someone that's behind the scenes, pretty much taking care of every single thing that I don't necessarily want to. And I think, usually maybe this year was actually easier for her because we weren't traveling, but it's one full-time assistant. I mean, she takes the brunt of it, but she's brilliant. And I think for us, transitioning over here, we were excited to coach together. We were excited to have a program that was ours and figure out what we can make it. But, she's phenomenal. And then the addition of Ashley, I mean, I obviously got to see Ashley in really close quarters at BC, and, I got to see her passion for the game and her transitioning over to be with us. I mean, the kids absolutely adore her. She's great. She loves coaching. It's who she is. And I think for her, it's those one-on-one conversations with kids. It's pulling someone aside to talk about their swing. It's just her showing up every single day in that consistency, and it's funny. Sometimes I listen and they're like, Coach O, Coach O, Coach O, but they all have questions. And to me, when they're asking questions, they're respecting the answer that's kind of coming out. So, I think with Ash and letting her, work with the hitters and take the hitters and do things with them, and also having that free reign to coach and feel comfortable saying whatever she wanted to say. I mean, I want this program to grow and be better, and I genuinely believe that she has elevated it. So it's been an awesome staff. I mean, I couldn't say enough about the two of them. I feel so fortunate, and I say all the time, the whole Coach of the Year award, I mean, that's coaching staff of the year. I just happen to be like, the top name, but the other two, they make it run just as much. So I've been pretty fortunate with those two.
Right. And finally, I mean, obviously you want to make noise in the NCAAs. I mean, what does the team need to do to make some more history?
Yeah, I think in the past, and I don't, our mindset is a little bit different this year, right? Where I'm not saying in the past making it was enough, right? But I think the expectations have been lifted. I think we have a higher standard of making it's not enough, right? Winning the conference is not enough, right? There's got to be something more to this. And I think if there's any year we're going to do it, it could be this year, right? These kids, they don't have fear and they just want to play, right? So I think to me, that's a great approach, because it doesn't make a difference who we're playing or what the name of the jersey is. They're going to try to do their thing and focus on us. And, I think that's a part that could be really special. But yeah, I mean, we got to do something there. We haven't yet. So we figured out the winning the conference part, but the next part, that's next on our bucket list here.
Right. All right. Well, thank you very much for joining me, Coach, and enjoy the selection show tomorrow.
Thanks, Scotty.